So I hope that the economics team is ready, led by Patti Washington, because now we're getting to get feedback on some of the work that has been happening on the pillars in female wave of change. And then each pillar is going to be presenting the vision, the activities, the past, present, and future activities. So let's hear from them. And we start with the economics team led by Patti. Over to you, Patti and team.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here today and joining you. I am the lead for the economy team, and we are talking today about you are the CEO of your life, the keys to your financial independence. Next slide. What we're going to be talking about today is the importance of goal setting, building your financial home on solid ground, grow your finances, decision-making, personal finances versus business financing, and creating a game plan. My fabulous team I'm from the United States, from Virginia. Susan is from New York. Geeta is from India. Tabello is from South Africa. Nailani is from Sri Lanka. Gladys is from Zimbabwe. Regina is from Kenya, and Grace is from Nigeria. Next slide, please. And today we're going to have Susan she's going to do an overview of our wonderful program we have here. Take it away, Susan.
Thanks so much, Patti, and thanks to everybody for being here today. So you are all CEOs of your life, and we're going to take you through a journey of financial independence. And that starts with really knowing your why, so inspired by Simon Sinek. It's what's your purpose? Who are you doing what you do for? And really getting grounded in that, because that becomes the foundation for you making decisions and for your actions. Next slide, please. And I should also say, if folks have questions, to please put it in the chat. And if we don't get to your questions today, we will post the conference. So at the beginning of this conference, we talked about knowing your future vision, your goals, your dreams. So take a moment to think about your future self, a couple of years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years, 20 years. Think about, what are you doing? Who are you with? How are you feeling? Where are you? And hold on to that vision, because that becomes your future destination that you're going to work towards. Next slide, please. So in order to get to that future vision, you have to look inwardly first to your financial home. So you'll notice that the bottom of your financial home is your foundation, which needs to be solid, grounded in your purpose, your why, having some savings, which Patti will talk about further, and also thinking about how to protect what you've worked for. The rooms of the home represent your goals, whether that's having a business, your home, saving for education, financial independence, whatever's important to you. And everybody's financial home is going to look differently. Importantly, that foundation needs to be big enough to support it, because when the foundation is too small, you know that the house falls down. Next slide, please. So in positioning your financial home for success, we also need to think about what can eat away at our success, whether that's managing financial termites or avoiding what we call financial tornadoes. And we've certainly had some financial tornadoes over the last couple of years, with the global pandemic taking an impact on our incomes, our health, the way we do education, everything. And then we've had natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires, eating away at things. And then in terms of termites, there are things that slowly eat away at our wealth, whether we see it or not, taxes and inflation as examples. Let's dig further into how the pandemic has specifically impacted women. Next slide, please. So this information is from UN Women from September of 2020. If anybody wants the article, just let me know and I'm happy to provide it to you. But the headlines are that lost income and rise in unpaid care and domestic work occurred. Globally, about 70% of healthcare workers and first responders are women. And there's a huge wage gap with gender with respect to healthcare in the healthcare industry, 28% compared to 16% overall. It is projected that more women will be in extreme poverty than men, and women tend to be overrepresented in many of the industries hardest hit by the pandemic, such as the food service industry, retail, entertainment, and informal employment, meaning things like domestic work. Next slide, please. But that's not to say that we live in despair. We're about taking action. So it's about how do you address these challenges? And we're going to talk further about these concepts, but I'm introducing a concept called diversification. It's really about thinking about many ways that you can generate income. Do you want to place your income all dependent on one basket? Or do you want to have the freedom and option to have many baskets for obtaining income? And income can come from things like perhaps you have a hobby of baking or making clothing or jewelry and how you could generate some extra income that way. And there's another concept of asset allocation and planting seeds to grow in different areas, whether that be cash, and we'll hear more about savings from Patti, or planting things in alternative investments like cryptocurrency that Tubello is going to talk about, and things that Gladys is going to talk about in terms of other types of investments, stocks and bonds, and then investing in your business. And Geeta is going to talk about that. Next slide, please. And so be that CEO of your life and design it, and don't let it happen to you. So it's about assessing where you are, keeping in mind your future vision, where you want to go, assess where you are today, and then figure out what those gaps are and take actions to address those gaps. Next slide, please. So there's a process you can engage in called CPAS. So the C stands for clarity. As we said, get clear on your overall goals. And very importantly is the P, give yourself permission to put yourself on your own agenda. As women, we handle so many different roles: mother, spouse, caregiver, professional, cheerleader, community leader, and the list goes on. So give yourself that grace. Access, gain access to ideas and solutions by working with experts and educating yourself on possibilities. And the female wave of change is a great place to start. The first S is for security. So to ensure that your financial home, again, is built on that solid foundation. And the last S is for to support, to surround yourself with that personal board of directors for your personal, financial, and professional worlds. And again, here at the Female Wave of Change, we're here to support you. Next slide, please. So you may want to take a picture of this slide and dig deeper into yourself to figure out if you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Because sometimes our mindsets get in the way of our growth. So growth mindset headline here is about learning and seeing failures as opportunities for growth instead of limiting your growth. And it's about pushing through the fear and the frustration. Next slide, please. And so we hope that you will be inspired to take action by doing something today that your future self will thank you for. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Nilani, who is a senior banker and also an ambassador for the Female Wave of Change.
Thank you, Susan. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Thank you all for being here today. We are delighted to have you here. Susan has laid the foundation for the economic team topic. And now we are going into further elaboration of this topic with our panel. So our first speaker today is Regina. She's an ambassador of Female Wave of Change, and she's also a business consultant. She will speak to us about goal setting. Over to you, Regina.
Thank you. Allow me to share my screen, please. I hope you can see my screen. So register more. On it. Let's listen to this 1 minute video, then I'll be able to share in 3 minutes. Thank you. I hope you've been able to see that. It was just a short clip. And what the clip is talking about is decluttering and saving money. And it's just sharing more with you women. Sorry for that. I think it was one of us who had not muted. So it's just saying decluttering and saving money, and just sharing with you women, fellow women, because I know majority of the people who are participating in today's meeting are women, and Female Wave of Change is more about women, empowering women to be able to take charge of their lives. And with the economic pillar, we are looking at empowering women economically and being able to set goals that can impact your life and the lives of those matter in your life. Be it your family members, your extended family members, or your community members. And from that perspective, I would want to share a story of this lady. Her name is Mole. Mole is a Kenyan name, a local Kenyan name. So what happened with Mole? She lived in this massive house somewhere in the suburb cities of Nairobi, you know, the better cities of Nairobi. And she had gotten this house through a deal, and it was a big space for her because she has a small family. And she kept thinking, perhaps I could make use of this space and make money. You know, I can perhaps divide the house and rent some bit of it and make some income. But that opportunity, that thought never got to mature. But then COVID-19 came, and you know, most of the countries, there was lockdown. And Mule was locked in the house together with her family members of one husband and one child, a small family. And they started reading about finances and personal finance and how they can make more money now, considering COVID is here, people are losing jobs, and thank God they did not Mole and her family did not lose their jobs, but that got them thinking, and they started thinking about making extra coin. How can we get extra coin to increase our finances? And this is what happened with the Mole. She decided to leave this house, go rent another house somewhere else, so that she can save half of the money, so that she can build her finances. And that was not the only step she took. She also looked at her house. She had so many things in her house that she did not need, and she decided to do what we call decluttering, removing the excess that she has in the house that she does not need. And she decided to sell some items, and she got somewhere to sell the items. She decided to donate other items that she did not need, and she did not think by selling them she will make any money or any impact. She decided to also discard some of the items that she had and she was not making use of. And so she just decided to eliminate the excess in her life, and not only excess in terms of items in the house, excess in terms of relationships that she thought were not going anywhere, relationships that were just meeting for a cup of tea every other day and were just spending. Now she decided to have a mindset of thinking of what tomorrow holds. If I lost my job today, what would happen? And those are some of the thoughts that made her decide to change the house, rent out this house that she owned, and go out and live in another smaller house so that she can make an extra coin. And by selling some of the items in her house, looking at her budget and reducing her expenses, she also got extra money, and she increased her savings. As we are talking now, Mole is an investor now in real estate, and she has just bought her second house through savings she's been making, because since 2019 she has constantly been saving double of what she used to save after becoming aware and intentional on how she wants to save and reducing her expenses so that she can save more. And that's just a story to share with you, to tell you that even us as women, from where we sit, we can become intentional in what we do, in the expenses that we make. I know some of us women want to buy so many clothes. You see a good dress you want to buy, and yet you have another one. You can only wear so many clothes at a go. So being intentional on what you want and where you are going to then will help you make wise decisions, and that way we can save money as women. We can also build wealth as women. That will be it from me. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
So thank you, Regina, for sharing those insights about goal setting as well as decluttering and how it can impact our lives in a positive sense. Thank you. So next we have Patti, who will take us through on building your financial home. Patti is a social worker and she's an ambassador of Female Wave of Change. Patti, over to you.
Hello, I am so glad to be here today to talk to you about paying yourself first. Now, I know some of you have heard this saying all your life, but it sounds good, but it doesn't work for most of us. That's how I felt for a long time. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great, but I don't have enough money to save anything, and I can't pay myself first. So I'm having a hard enough time making ends meet. That's what I told myself for a long time. But what if I told you that if you are in that situation, this is the best time possible for you to pay yourself first? Like we started out talking about, you've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, these things are not going to work. A lot of times what happens with people say, oh yeah, I'm going to save some money. I'm going to take $500-600. I'm going to put it in a savings account. Then what happens? Life happens. And then what? We take it out. So you got to have a plan around saving your money. So next slide, please. What I have come up with is that you pay yourself first chart. What if somebody gave you $10 and you just took $1 of that and put in a savings account? And isn't this a good way to teach our children too? If they get some birthday money, just take $1, maybe even 50 cents out and just put it in a savings account. You have to pay yourself first. You are your most important value asset. You are what's valuable, because without you, there's nothing. So you've got to take care of you first so you can take care of your family, so you can do that. But now what do? You got the savings account started. When can you take this money out? Next slide, please. This is a savings account for an emergency savings fund. And it is what it says, emergency only. The only way you can take this money out is if it meets two qualifications. First of all, it has to be an emergency. And what are we talking about as an emergency? An emergency is something that is dire, like you are going to lose your house. You are going to not be able to go to work. Those kind of things, that is the only time you hit the savings account. And number two, which is very important, you have to meet both criteria. So you have an emergency. Let's say you need rent and you need $300, but you only have $200 in your savings account. Don't touch the money, because it is not going to solve the problem, and it's just going to have more and more emergencies. Now, if you have $200 in there and you need $50 so you can get back and forth to work, so that way you can make some money to maybe pay your rent, maybe do some overtime or something, then you can touch the money. But you can't touch it unless it solves the emergency. You must have an emergency. You must solve the emergency. This is how you take your power back around your money. Because remember, you're in charge of your money, not your money's in charge of you. You are the CEO of your life, and you need to take over your money with making sure that every time you do a saving, get some money, just take a little bit out, just a little bit at a time, and make sure before you take that money out, it meets the two qualifications. Thank you very much. Back to you, Melanie.
Thank you, Patti, for the tips and the formula you have shared with our audience today as a first step to build their financial home. So our next panelist is Gladys, who's an expert in financial education, and she's also a wave maker of Female Wave of Change. She will share some important points on investing and risk management with us today. Over to you, Gladys. Gladys, are you there? Do you have any
She's
audio?
there, but she has to
I think
unmute
she has
herself.
an audio.
Yes.
Okay. Gladys, please unmute. We can see you. Please unmute yourself. Gladys.
Maybe admin can assist with unmuting her.
Or she might be having network problems. So maybe one of the team members just go through her slides.
Tebelo, would you like to take over from here? Yeah, I'll introduce you. So Tebelo is an ambassador of Female Wave of Change, and she's also a business leadership consultant. So today she will also cover investing in digital currencies as well, in addition to Gladys's slides due to the technical difficulty. Over to you, Tebelo.
Melanie, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm really excited to be here today and to be sharing, my experience with you. So, ladies, we know that we live in the fourth industrial revolution, and everything has moved to being digital. And in our world as well, what we need to know as well is that money is moving to digital. So I know that most of us hear about, cryptocurrencies, and we sit there and we are wondering, what are these things and how can they add value to me? I love what my fellow economic members have said with regards to being intentional. So if you want to get into crypto, become intentional. Also about having a growth mindset. So why are cryptocurrencies critical for us, especially as women in these days? Number one, we need to understand that cryptocurrencies are digital currencies. So we cannot touch them, we cannot smell them, we cannot see them. We use them on a digital platform. However, what is lovely about cryptocurrencies is that we're able to use them to pay for services and products. So people can be able to go into a shop now and be able to use these cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. You can also send them across the world. What I love about cryptocurrencies is that if I send it to you in another part of the world, it's going to take seconds or minutes. TransUnion is out, West Union is out. I'm able to send these currencies through to you on, very quickly. And more importantly, from a wealth building point of view and a growth mindset, is that you can store them for a longer term so that they become an investment platform for you. Now, what are some of the reasons why we really, as women, need to be thinking about cryptocurrencies? Number one, cryptocurrencies help us to dare to dream. Cryptos are able to help women to start dreaming again and think in abundance and in prosperity. When you think about cryptocurrencies, they help you to think, plan, and fund your dreams, such as a business that you may want to be starting, or a business that you want to invest in, or even living a debt-free life because you're able to convert them, into fiat currencies and use them. But more importantly, be able to go on that lifetime holiday trip that you've always dreamt of. If you have invested in cryptocurrencies and you've invested in the right cryptocurrencies, you can actually pay for that lifetime holiday that you've been dreaming about. Cryptocurrencies also help us, to ensure that we have, an inclusive society and can be able to embrace society because the diversity, because cryptocurrencies are decentralized. They're able to provide equal chances and opportunity to everyone who acquires and uses them. And able to help us. They are also able to help us, especially as women, to be able Okay, sorry, I realized I was muted. So why is it that they're important from an inclusivity point of view, especially for us as women? They help us to be able to challenge the current biases and barriers, to the financial, that the financial sectors have created for women. If I have cryptocurrencies and you have them, we are able to use them between us anytime, anyhow. And it's lovely to start seeing countries like El Salvador, which are now looking at cryptocurrencies also as a form of payment so that they're able to encompass, the unbanked. So furthermore, the cryptocurrencies are then open to both men and women from all walks of life and from all over the world. It does not matter your qualification, your sexual orientation, the level of your living. Anyone that has funds that they've saved, from what Patti was saying, you can be able to take them and invest them, in the cryptocurrency space. They are also able to open opportunities for the unbanked who also have dreams and aspirations. However, these unbanked never knew that they could be able to achieve these dreams and aspirations. And cryptocurrencies have opened people's minds to new perspectives and money, which they are able to utilize. Also, from a financial independence, cryptocurrencies are able to bring financial independence and economic empowerment, especially to us in women, which are really essential for us, because many women have started to create their own sustainable income streams and jobs, and they're able to ensure that from a social responsibility point of view, they can improve, on their financial independence. Melanie, next slide, please. Now, some of you may be sitting here and say, okay, we hear this. How can we acquire them? There are different ways that you can be able to acquire these cryptocurrencies. First of all is that you can take the money that you've saved and be able to buy and hodl these currencies on an exchange. Basically, hodling them means you keep them in an exchange over an extended period of time, and value as the value of the cryptocurrency increases. For those of you that are financially and technically inclined, you can also trade currencies by selling them and buying them on the various exchanges. For some people, this is a very exciting space to be in. Not for me. I want to know that my currencies are working on their own without having to worry about them on a regular basis. Thirdly, you can partner with a company that does mining of these cryptocurrencies, who then reward you for helping them to mine the cryptocurrencies. Thank you, Nelani. What are the key actions that I'd like to leave with you today that I want you to think about when it comes to cryptocurrencies? Number one, partner with someone who you trust, that can be able to guide you. Number two, start with an affordable amount. People are scared about cryptocurrencies because they think they need to start with these huge amounts. You can start with an affordable amount. You can start with $50, $20 to get involved in cryptocurrencies. Number three, find a crypto exchange that is recognized in your country, where then you will be able to track your own investment without waiting for somebody to do it for you. And last point that I'd like to leave with you is that do your own research on a continuous basis. Make YouTube your friend when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and you will be able to build the wealth for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for generations to come by getting involved in cryptos. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tebelo. You have convinced us that crypto is the new norm. I'm sure there will be lots joining your community very soon. Thank you.
Pleasure.
We are glad that Gladys is back, beating all the technical issues. Thank you, Gladys, for not getting excited, but you managed it very well. And we are happy that you are back. So Gladys is a wave maker of Female Wave of Change, and she's also a financial education expert. She'll be speaking to us about building our finances, investing, and also about risk management. Over to you, Gladys.
Thank you very much, Nilani. I'm talking about investment and risk management. Investing is putting your money to use so as to allow it to grow without any stress. It can be in the form of livestock, pigs, cows, goats, chickens, land, rent. You can even be involved in the farm. Next slide, Milani. Now we have different money personalities as individuals. Our personalities are modeled from our physical, from our emotional, from our spiritual attributes. They are molded and colored and brought about by our upbringing, our fears, our experiences of the world, and our view of the world. All these issues, they shape our money personality. Number one, the investor is a personality that calculates risk. They are very careful about how they invest. The speculator, they look out for opportunities and they jump into those opportunities. The savers are the ones who want to play it safe. They want to keep money little by little from time to time. Next slide, please. You need to know your investor personality. Number one, you need to know whether you are a preserver. Preservers are people that are cautious. Preservers are very, very emotional, and they also want to play it safe. Number two, we've got accumulators. These people are confident as risk takers. They are very positive. They are also overconfident. Number three, we've got followers. This type of people, they follow the crowd. They do what everyone else is doing, and they have no confidence in money issues. They lack confidence in financial matters. Number four, we've got individualistic people. These people are methodological people. They want to research on themselves. They want to do it themselves. They are analytical. They are critical thinkers, and they are also overconfident. And it's very, very important for you to know which type of investor personality you are, because it has an impact on the type of investments that you are able to take. Next slide, please. You need to make decisions about where to invest, how to invest, and when to invest. So when you are making an investment decision, you need to know how long that investment is going to take. Is it a 6-month investment, a 1-year investment, a 10-year investment? What are the risks involved in your investment? And how will it work? It is important for you to understand your investment, know very well how that investment is going to work. And you need to have goals. As Regina has mentioned, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve with that particular investment? And what are the costs involved? How much is that building going to cost you? How much is that business going to cost you to start it? And you need to also take stock of your current investments. What are the current investments that you already have or that are already available in your market? And you also need to know about alternatives. What alternative investments can you get involved in? And every investment comes with a risk. There is a risk of losing money when your investments lose value, get stolen, or are mismanaged, destroyed, or damaged. So it is important to not to put your eggs in one basket. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, but diversify, because the rule of risk is simple. You have the potential to earn more when the risk is high and to earn less when the risk is low. Next slide. This is a couple that have lost all their investment in farming because they had not diversified. So it is important for you to diversify your investments. Next slide. So in conclusion, before investing your money, calculate what you expect to earn in future from the investment. Compare it with other investment alternatives and choose the investment that has a possibility of giving you a higher return much faster. Also, be careful in making an investment. There may be not any flexibility, or it may be very expensive to switch to another investment. If you are not sure what to do, consult experts here in Female of Wave of Change, in the economics team, in other teams. We have various experts. Thank you very much. Back to you, Nilani.
Thank you, Gladys. Thank you for sharing those insights on precautions one has to take in order to mitigate risk when investing. This is once again a reminder to our audience to post your questions on the chat so we can take them up later. Right. So now we have Geeta, who's our final speaker. She's a member of Circle of Wise Women, Female Wave of Change, and she's also a serial entrepreneur. She will be sharing with us on a very important topic, segregation of personal and business finances. Over to you, Geeta.
Thank you very much, Nilani. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you beautiful ladies from wherever you're joining us from this beautiful planet. First and foremost, a big, big virtual hug to all our soul sisters for pulling through one of the most demanding and ravaging 2 years. Each of you, with your invincible feminine energy, has helped your family, your community, and your country. Salute to you. Let me jump straight into the topic that I want to share with you, which is tips for segregating personal and business finances. You know, it's very easy for personal and business accounts to get tangled up. After all, it's just my money. What difference does it make if it's a left pocket or the right pocket? But no matter if it is your home business or fourth or fifth diversification, it is a good idea to have clean dividing lines. I'm going to give you 10 very simple tips on how to do that. You might want to take a screenshot of the next 2 slides. You know, you've been hearing how to become the CEO of your life, right? From Susan to Patti to Tabello, Gladys, we've all got tips on how to do other things. The CEO of your life, the Chief Executive Officer, one that gets the jobs done with discipline and accountability. That is your big hat. Now, what I'm going to suggest to you is that perhaps you take one more hat, that of a CFO, a Chief Financial Officer, who is answerable to you, the CEO, and follow the next steps, 10 steps or rules. Very simple. It's really, really simple. So rule 1, give yourself a salary and don't exceed it. Give the same amount every month, a salary from the CEO to the CFO. Number 2, set up separate bank accounts, one for your personal accounts and one for your business. It will really, really help you when your money goes into one account and comes out of one account for these 2 things. Number 3, keep separate boxes for your receipts. I don't mean genuinely to keep boxes. You could keep a ledger, you could keep anything, because we want your business to grow. And once your business grows, you're going to have to pay taxes. You have to go through all the processes that are required if you want to apply for a loan, etc. No one is going to take your word for it what you bought. So the receipts of what you have bought should also be kept separately. An easier way to do this is by the rule number 4, that is, get a credit card for your business. Very often people take a credit card for their personal use, but I really suggest that take a credit card for your business. That way, each and every purchase of yours is documented and it's clear, but make sure that you pay your credit card bill on time and do not get embroiled in the interest game. Number 5, a very simple, just the way we make a budget for our home, set a budget for the business. Do not get carried away. Keep in mind the discipline and do that. You remember what Susan said, your personal board of directors? Rule number 6 is just that. Make sure your family understands your business and its status. Make sure they understand the importance. And very often, maybe in your family, you might have a son or a spouse or a cousin who's good at the digital part. And that can be your board of director. He's a great help to you. Your daughter might be brilliant at packaging. She might help you with that. Rule number 7, understand what a business expense is and what is not. Now let's get a little technical. All food, travel, entertainment is not a business expense. You can't write off everything. A dinner with your family is not a business expense. So be clear about that. Rule number 8, create a division between your office and your home. Even if you're working from home, your entire electrical bill cannot be business. Part of it is personal. So keep records of that. Rule number 9, learn to keep logs. If you're using your cell phone, your car, do keep a log of your use. Sounds too confusing, doesn't it? Sounds scary. I know in the beginning it does. But rule number 10 is for that. Talk to a mentor or financial professional. There are plenty of simple tools that the person may be able to suggest. And finally, remember, as a woman, you have donned many hats at one time. These are only 2, a chief executive officer and a chief financial officer. Shine on, dear sisters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geeta, for the great tips you have given, easy to understand and easy to implement as well. It only needs a commitment from each and every one of us. Thank you. So thank you to all the panelists for the tips and the insights you've shared with us, with the audience today. So we have come to the end of our panel discussion, but we have just 2 more points. So I'm just posing this to my panelists. If I am to ask you to define what does financial independence mean to a person in just one word, not a sentence, just one word, what would it be? So who would like to go first from the panel? Unmute and just speak up.
One word.
One
Protection.
word.
Protection.
Thank you, Geeta. Gladys, I can see you.
Okay, security.
Security. Thank you. Tebelo.
Success.
Success. Thank you. How about the others? Patti, Susan, Regina.
Hello,
Peace. For me, it's
hi,
peace.
Selena is still not here. I can't get hold of her. And
Okay.
we're going to start now. Maybe you can
Sorry.
say one word or two before you allow the...
Sorry.
Looks like somebody's not on mute.
Yeah. Susan.
Yes,
What would Susan, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, I was muted as I was talking. Yeah. Proactivity.
Proactivity. Thank you, Susan. How about Patti?
Okay, I have to use more than one word, sorry. Taking your power back. Taking your power back.
Okay. Exemption granted. Okay. Right.
Thank you.
So ladies, that was awesome. And that was very interesting. So finally, to all the speakers, what's the tagline you would want to leave with our audience today that it will continue to resonate what we have spoken today? So shall we go in the reverse order, starting from Geeta?
Sure, Nilani. I would say 2 hats, CEO, CFO, discipline, accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Who's ready next? Tebelo, are you ready?
I'm ready. Nilani, I will say women dig crypto, which means women like crypto.
Wow, that's fabulous. Just like you, very unique, Tebelo. Yeah, so Gladys?
I'd say women invest for your financial security.
Thank you, Gladys. Patti?
You have
For
the
me,
power.
it would be let's learn to declutter our spaces and
I was going to say,
Regina, yes, yeah. Regina, go ahead. You were next, but that's okay. Go ahead, please. Regina?
oh, sorry, my internet was unstable.
No worries. Please go ahead.
All right. I said, let's declutter our spaces and also declutter our lives and live peaceful lives while making money as well.
Yes. I would like to add one more to that with your permission. Declutter our minds as well, right? That's a very important one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Regina. Patti, over to you now.
taking your power back. You have the power, not your money has the power over you. You have the power.
Yeah, thank you. Susan.
So I'll wrap up with know your purpose and align your decisions with that.
Thank you. So that was awesome, ladies. You've been a great panel, and thank you also to our wonderful audience. So you have made a real investment today by being here, because please remember that the most important investment you can make is in yourself. So congratulate yourself that you have made a wise decision to attend this conference. Thank you for being with us here today, and enjoy the rest of the conference today as well as tomorrow. Thank you from the economy team.